So move that out of the way. There he is. I'm wearing a Manchester United shirt today for the first time in about 25 years. So that was 1999. I just think supporting the Northwest is good. My hair's doing my head in and I might cut it off. I'm at Tesco's at Halliwell Jones and I'm sat outside the Warrington Wolves Stadium. I think I'm going to play there. I think there's a possibility I might play there. We'll see. See how fit I can get. Ooh, let's not listen to that. I'm currently sat on a Fiat 500 Warrington car hire. And yeah, I don't think I did an interview, a thing the other day. Yesterday, did I do a video? Oh yeah, I did do a video. Well, anyway, my goal is to play there. Well, one of my goals is to play there. I've been sorting out my businesses. That's important. And then I need to box, definitely. I need to get more experience in ring boxing. My technical skills are fairly good and my in-ring experience is poor. There really isn't really much of it. So I need to get comfortable getting hit and trying not to get hit. And I need to get back to rugby. I was thinking about rugby today. One good thing about rugby, when it's like a nice day, like sunny, and it's like, admittedly most of the season's not, but when it's sunny like that, it's just like, it just feels so good to get out there on the pitch and do some steps. Messi does a few steps, but you smoke and drink though. Yeah, man, I'm excited to get playing back rugby. I am actually genuinely excited. My back is better, not great. I'm stretching it off and getting rid of the candida that's been all through me. Definitely linked to high stress, which it's kind of like you stay in the pressure cooker long enough, you sort of adapt to it. So I guess there's kind of that vibe going on with stress. You just sort of kind of get used to it. It fucks my body up a little bit. I've collapsed a few times with stress, which is a bit of a mad thing because you feel fine, but my eyes just start going, ugh. But like, I feel like I'm putting it on myself, and I'll tell myself, and I'll go, no, you're putting it on. This is ridiculous. There's nothing wrong. Stress is not a thing. Stress is not real. And yeah, I've fallen over a few times because of it. But I lose my balance quite regularly from it. I can just feel it come in, and then I just feel... You know, one of the things that's been around recently has been preparing food. Because of this candida thing throughout my body, there's only certain foods I can eat. And it's been that way for ages, and I've been trying to find out what the hell's been wrong with me, and I've spent loads of money on tests in Spain trying to figure out, was it a parasite, was it something wrong with my stomach, was it something wrong with my eyes, trying to figure it out. Yeah, loads, like 2-3 years trying to figure it out. Finally figured it out, and eating barberries, dried barberries seems to cure it, and staying away from breads and carbs as much as possible. And the difficulty with that is that when I'm stressed, I want to binge eat sugar. So that's been something I've had to get over. Just sitting with the pain, sitting with the stress, sitting with the difficult situation, and not looking for an escape. Just like sit with it, it'll pass. I just find like the bad feelings seem to be way more intense than the good ones. So when I feel like shit, it feels like it's really, really intense. But I feel happy, it's like, it feels more short-lived. I don't know, maybe that's me. Anyway, I've lost my trail of thought now. Yeah, well, I'd like to play here. Warrington boy, playing for Warrington, that'd be pretty cool. I have a feeling... No, I know what I can do. I just hope that God gives me the opportunity to express that physically, manifest it physically. because I've been through a few false starts with the rugby. I don't know how many new clubs I've been to, and I've had a problem on the first training session. Stone, I did my ankle on the first session, and that's like the very bottom of the pyramid, step 10 or 11 or whatever. Winnington, when I went back there, I pulled my hammy after the first game I played. I was out all season. Exeter, I got ready for that, and then I had my memory come up and did my knee. Spain, when I trained out there, I got injured in the first or second session. First, I think. I cried after that one. Limb collapsed in thingy because of the fungal infection in my eyes and that. No one helped me. That's 5 false starts where I've been injured on the first session. Sure, there's another one as well. I counted these out the other day. But yeah, it takes some sort of madman to keep going, doesn't it? I just know what my body can do. I only realised recently that my body isn't the same as other people's bodies in terms of the things that I was doing naturally weren't normal in the sense of, the thing was, right, I would do like 100 metres, 200 metres, relay, hurdles, long jump, triple jump. And I would do all right at the sort of the local competitions, and then when I went, and every time it went up a level, apart from the relay, which I did well in, every time it went up a level, I'd always start finishing second, third, fourth, and then they'd go up a level, and I would get disheartened. I'm no good. But what I didn't realise was the person that was winning the 100, for example, or 200. Pete Morgan, for example, lad in my school, he wasn't doing the hurdles, he wasn't doing the long jump, and because I had such poor self-worth stuff, I just thought that meant I was a bit shit. That's it. I'd race against older lads. I'd race against lads the year above me. I played rugby again against lads the year above me. I'd play football with the older lads as well. But because I was never the best in my thing, apart from rugby, because I was never the best in my cohort or in my district, I then felt that meant that I was shit at it. Well, that's sad, really, isn't it? But I didn't realise that I was doing stuff that other people weren't doing, even though I wasn't the best at it. I was doing more than others, different, diversified, kind of. Sad, really. Oh, I feel a bit emotional having said that. I don't really articulate it. Yeah, getting kicked out of school was not a good vibe for me. It made me who I am, and I'm grateful for it now in a sense. But that's the thing. My friends, the things that did me in the most was getting kicked out of school. I had recurring dreams for 15 years going back after that. I'd go back, I'd have them like 3 or 4 times a week. I'd wake up and I'd say to my partner at the time, guess what I dreamt of about last night? She'd go, yeah, school. Yeah, I had a recurring dream where I'd go back, because I got thrown under the bus basically. I would go back and I would go back for 6th form, and I'd tell the teachers what I really thought of them and tell them the truth. Because we were in a school where like you couldn't answer back or anything like that. And actually now looking back, like, who treats a child like, it's weird. At the time you just think that it's normal just getting like bollocked all the time and then not saying anything back. not standing up for yourself. I never stood up for myself in school in that sense. Like, you're taught to like respect the teachers or whatever, but they never respected me. They never gave me. Some of them did though. Some of them were really nice. Well, 2 or 3. The rest, yeah, felt very bullied a lot of the time. There was a clique basically that ran the school of teachers, but now being like similar age, or like maybe only like 10, 15 years younger than what they would have been then, maybe slightly more. Oh no, I'm 35 and yeah, coming up. So yeah, and like 10, 15 years older. Like, could I imagine being, I can't imagine being purposely mean to anyone, let alone being purposely mean to a child under my stewardship. Weird. But I always internalized it. I always thought there was something wrong with me, why everybody hated me. Whether that be at home or when I moved schools. I was the posh kid in Warrington, and then I was the chav in Cheshire. But when I went back, because I used to play sport against them all, I was like hated where I lived. I never really thought about that till recently either. Like, yeah, it was like public enemy #1. It was weird. Yeah. I don't know, money envy, I don't know. It was definitely like, I remember getting punched. And yeah, I was targeted. I was targeted in the rugby matches. When we used to play them, my school would play against the school near me where all my friends from primary school used to end up going, and I just get targeted. Yeah, it was a bit weird. I never really thought. I always felt hated wherever I went. Teachers. That's not 100% true, I guess. There were a few people at rugby that obviously like really stuck to me. Crossy, yes lad. There were a few people, I took to him as well. There were a few people along, I always had friends in my cohort. I think the thing with me was at school, especially, because I was not a bad kid. I was never mean to anyone. I always stood up for the geeks. If someone was bullying them, I'd always stand up against the bully. That was like, don't get me wrong, I would absolutely terror people. Like, yeah, I would absolutely terrorize people, but at the same time, I would stand up for people as well. I don't know, my year especially, loved me. Yeah, it was really nice. Never felt really like that. I never felt loved before. My sister, when I was a kid, I felt loved. And then my dog, when I got my dog when I was like 29, 28, 30. Yeah, 30ish. But I never, apart from like an ex-girlfriend's dad, and yeah, a couple of guys from school or rugby, I've never felt loved. God, it's going deep today, isn't it? Yeah, never felt loved. Biggie taught me that. My dog Biggie was there. He taught me what unconditional love felt like. I should really go and get him. My son now obviously gives me that. I saw him this morning. Oh my, he was laughing his little head off at the dogs. He's obsessed with the dogs. Yeah. Wild. Yeah, I was having a conversation with my friend as well the other day about my arrest and stuff, and like seeing the inner workings of the system. I really picked the fight with the wrong people. Yeah. They told me that I was going to leave. Basically, there's a video of me shouting and then poking my partner through a half open window on the shoulder, like that, prodding her, like saying, like, "I'm here. Like, why are you ignoring me?" Because she was literally, anyway. And after like so much, after after feeling manipulated and lied to and gaslighted and thingy for months to the point where it was destroying my family and hurting my son, and then I finally start shouting properly, like really angry, and because I prodded her through the window, someone else that was close to me then threw me under the bus. with regards to showing some CCTV footage of that out of context with no explanation. But because it was only a prod and some shouting, you would feel, oh, what's that? It's not a great argument, is it? It's not a good look. I don't advocate shouting at women, but yeah, shouting at a prod on the shoulder seems like it might not be warranted of criminal record. But it has been, and I'm not going to cry about spilt milk. It's just, the lawyer told me when I got arrested for that I was going to leave with a caution, or maybe they'd get an NFA, which means no further action. And then because I was like illustrative and articulate with the story in the interview, the interviewing officer was completely on my side and really trying to help me. She was giving me some book references for dealing with certain personal stuff, regards to like forgiveness and forgiveness being a choice, like forgiving someone else being a choice, and then like the anger that you might feel is only hurting yourself. Excuse me, it's only hurting yourself if you hold on to anger. That feeling, you're punishing yourself. So I'm trying to, anyway. And yeah, she was very nice and very helpful, and that was the first person that I've sat down and explained everything to. And she then sent it off to be reviewed by someone else. I think it's called like CPS or something, or it was another group or like organisation where it had to get sent to. And I was told at the day I would either be released, no further action, or I'd get a caution. But then because they sent it to another place, my understanding is that given my picking the misguided battles, shall we say, with the system in inverted commas, it so seems that somebody has decided that let's not go with NFA, let's not go with caution, let's go straight to charge. My friends are worried about me, the one in particular about picking fights with the wrong people. But I was just naive, I think. You know, naive to like, you know, it's not, there's no ability in the system. Of course there is. This is the right thing. This won't, if I complain and I go through the right procedures, then this will be fine and it'll work, because that's the system that we're told that we're in. And that's the system that I thought that I was in. And actually all I did was shoot myself in the foot. Picked a fight with the big boys club when I'm not a big boy. Scary, really. Yeah, my friend was worried about me. But growth process. And also it kind of does narrow my options. I have prayed and asked for focus, and like God will give you what you ask for. It's just not necessarily in the way that you think that it's going to happen. So yeah, I definitely look at that. Definitely asked for focus and definitely got it. It's just the method of getting said focus was traumatic, and I'd have forgotten how traumatized I am. I had a neighbour come round. She was moaning at me from music. She's actually fine, but she's actually nice. And I only literally play guitar meditations, Venezuelan guitar meditations, or Colleen Bailey Ray, things like that, or James Brown, like nothing. At very respectable volumes, at very respectable times. And anyway, she ended up having a bit of a go at me, but then she came round to talk about it, because I left her a note, just like trying to squash it. And when she came round, it was one of those conversations that was a bit difficult to start with, and I just started panicking, because I was like, if she calls the police now, I'm fucked. And because of the when I relive my abuse, when the sergeants that I've got a video for, I've got the video of it. I will end up posting it at some point about my arrest and yeah, how brutal it was, and then you complain and they just say they did nothing wrong. Well, let everyone else be the judge. When you're saying I'm a victim of sexual abuse and rape and I'm convulsing with a panic attack, I'm not sure that grabbing me and throwing me onto a sofa and bundling me into a van not against my will, against my physical capacity, may be considered a little bit heavy-handed. However, that was a certain sergeant group that are not very happy with me because I made them look bad. But no, I didn't make you look bad. You made yourselves look bad, and I was just the catalyst for it. Pricks. Yeah, it was well bad. I relived my abuse. It was Valentine's. It's good now, but I did realise the other day when my neighbour was in the house, I was like shaking. I was like, fuck. I was like, you need to go, because like, if we're having anything other than a cordial conversation that's going well, then I am at risk, because they'll just grip me for nothing again, throw me into 24 hours of solitary confinement again, and then send me down probably now, because I take it I'm on some sort of probation or some shit. Don't really know how it works, excuse my French. Okay. What? That's a wild situation. I actually said to her as well, yeah, I said, oh, I take, she said, she eventually, obviously, I explained, and she started crying. Yeah, I was crying a lot. Even she was crying. It's like, if I explained the whole story, including other stuff that's happened, like the birth and like loads of stuff, like, people can't even handle listening to the story of what happened. And I'm not trying to like victim myself, because I'm not, well, I mean I am, but I'm not trying to play the victim. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. I'm a survivor of, well, quite a few different types of abuse, unfortunately, because I never had any good tools prior to going to therapy. Thank you, Liddy. So that's where a lot of my frustration came from, leading up to my arrest, about I've done so much work on myself, so many hours and thousands of pounds of therapy. £70 an hour. PhD. I was like, rip this fucking plaster off, let's get into it. And I got into it so much, I ended up using tools myself that she was teaching me that she wasn't using herself, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is like, what they call it, didact? Self-learn. It's just like, so that's where the frustration came from, because not only are people messing with me, they're now also messing with my son. But my son, I've broken, and this is something that I thought about yesterday, I've broken years and years and years and years and generations of intergenerational trauma. If you don't know what intergenerational trauma is, it's basically, if you can imagine a toxic behaviour that you picked up from your parents, for example, say your mum, what's a good example of something positive though, that's the better example? So my mum doesn't like spending money because she grew up in a working class environment. Okay, so that has then gone on to me, finally. It didn't to start with, but it has then gone on to me. But if you can imagine that, but in a more negative sense, or something that's more extreme, or something that's bigoted, or something that leads to self-sabotage, or something that still does with me, but something that leads to, I don't know, something that's not conducive to betterment. And you take it from, so they get it from their dad, but they get it from their dad, and they get it from their dad, and they get it from their dad, and it filters down. That's called intergenerational trauma. And when you break that, you go to therapy, you sit through it, you break it, you look at yourself, you're honest, you're strong and courageous. I'm not saying that I am, I'm saying that in general, you can break the intergenerational trauma that's been holding you back for your whole life prior to therapy, and been holding your generations before you back. And I've done that to the best of my ability, and now wasn't being able to get the opportunity to pass that down to give my son the chance of a lifetime, basically. That's why I got annoyed. I don't need anyone to love me anymore. I'm an adult. It's just, don't fuck with my kid. Don't fuck with my kid. Don't fuck with my dogs. Or don't fuck with my wife. Don't fuck with my nucleus. Don't fuck with it. That's what I said when that bloke smashed into me on purpose as an insurance job. I said, I got my fucking dogs in the back. I went, that's the most loud I've ever shouted. I knew he'd done it on purpose. Didn't realise why at the time. I thought he'd done it to prove a point. Later in hindsight, I realised that he did it for an insurance job. But I was like, I had that protective instinct kicked in. And I was just like, don't go near my dogs. They're like my children, and I will tell you off if you drive a car into me on purpose. But anyway, I realised that breaking that intergenerational trauma, I realised yesterday when I was sat sort of meditating, I realised how much of a big deal that is. And I'm not saying that to blow my own trumpet, but I'm saying like that, look, here's the police now. Every time I see a police car drive past now, bear in mind there's some really nice bobbies that are really sound. Most of the bobbies actually are, but some of the sergeant team are not. I could tell that guy's nose a mile off. That's the guy that tried to wind me up after the first arrest, where I was one that called because we needed a little bit of extra support. He came around the next day purposely trying to wind me up. And I complained about that as well, because they were being mean and nasty for no reason, and it was making me cry in front of them. They were just being mean on purpose, trying to wind me up so they could arrest me. And I didn't bite because I have emotional restraint. He's really mean. Can you see the car? That's funny, isn't it? Can you see the car there? Let's have a look at that. No. You're mean, mate. Anyway. Yeah, bobbies on the majority of the bobbies on the street are really sound, lovely people, just like want to make a difference, want to help. And there just seem to be some, especially ones that stay on, that they're just so traumatized that they disassociate, and they've just kind of got lost in this power game in a way. Is it power game, power status sort of trip? Power trip. Really bad. But like, I even said to the girl that arrested me the first time, when she knew she was wrong, she knew she got it wrong, but she'd already got emotional and called the bloody right van at that point. My fucking mum and dad's drive in the posh bit of Warrington. Like, what on earth is going on here? She completely misread the situation. She got all emotional and she called a riot van. All right. Okay. Well, I was one that called. Anyway, so but when she put me into the back of the riot van, all the other bobbies were being really nice to me because they'd realised what had happened, because I was saying, please make sure that everyone's taken care of in the vicinity. And I knew that you could see it on her face. She knew she'd made a mistake, but she was so deep into it that she couldn't backtrack. So I just, not only did I get thrown under the bus, I got ran over by a 24-wheeler. But they all knew, because they couldn't question her, because she was the sergeant. She knew she made a mistake. She didn't go back on it because it would have made her look silly, because she got emotional and she'd acted irrationally. And she leads that station with an iron fist. But because she did that, I got fucked. 2 years. I ended up being arrested at the doors of the maternity ward, because they said I broke an order, which shouldn't have been put on me in the first place, because I was the one that called for help. And then they said I broke the order when I was sat for 3.5 days, 4 days, at my wife's bedside after watching them both nearly die, changing wounds, changing nappies, helping go to the toilet. And then what happens on the 4th day, 3rd day, 4th day? Oh, they arrest me at the doors of the maternity ward. And then I did 24 hours and overnight, and then went to the court the next day, and I got let away for nothing, because obviously the only people that seem to engage their brains, by the way, are the judges, and that is something that anyone ever gets sort of caught up in the system. Can't speak for all judges, but it does seem that they are together people with a brain, so that kind of gives me hope. However, so I've been arrested. I've nearly watched my wife die. I've been arrested at the Dortmund Sunday Board. I've been arrested when I was on the call for help. I've been arrested over and over again, even though literally all I've done is shout and poke through a window. And yeah, they knew that she knew what she was doing. She knew she'd made a mistake. She turned my life upside down. People won't look me in the eye now because they think I'm this mad, crazy abuser that smashes up women, basically, and people. Crazy, mad situation. But anyway, she knew that she made a mistake, but she couldn't back down because she wanted to lose face. And when I complained, so this is what happened. So I got arrested the first time. This is what happened the first time. I complained, right? Because I was like, this is ridiculous. There has to be some sort of nobility in the system. There has to be some sort of nobility in the system. So I know that this is wrong. It'll be, because when I got arrested the first time, I'd explained sort of kind of protecting other people to the other arresting officer. And he hadn't shared any of it with his boss, because his boss had already got emotional and called the right van without even consulting with the person that spoke to me in a separate room. And I had a bit, not a go at him, but I was like, mate, I need you to tell her what I told you. And he just couldn't do or say anything, because she was this woman that ran the force, this angry officer that runs the little clique that runs that station, Cheshire Police in Warrington, whatever it is. There's a little clique that runs it, the sergeants, and they're not nice people. No, let me rephrase that. They're very, very damaged people. Very damaged. And I feel bad for them, because they've been helping out the communities or whatever, but they are not doing their utmost to act with nobility, which is what I would thought would be the prerequisite, the main prerequisite issue for anyone in a position of power that has the ability to help or hurt, is that you don't hurt. You always act nobly. You always act with integrity. So yeah, when I complained, the first time I got taken in, I was distraught. I was crying my eyes out and all that, because I was like, this is a mad situation. I managed to calm down. And yeah, basically, I've spoken about this on here before. When I was in the cells, I've finally got the opportunity to talk to someone through the door where they give you the food. If you've ever seen 24 Hours in Police Custody, it's like that, but worse. They treat you way worse. And there's quite a lot of narcissists in there. But yeah, I finally got the opportunity to, within 30 seconds, blurt out, like, please help me, this has happened to me. One officer listened to me finally and was like, oh shit, yeah, that makes total sense, because this sergeant runs the station with an iron fist and is careless with other people's feelings and her empathy and her position. So I was given the direct email of not the boss, the boss's boss, to directly complain about the sergeant that runs within the clique that runs the station with an iron fist, with a lack of nobility. So the Bobby gave me the direct email of the boss, and I thought, do you know what? I knew I was right, but I was like, finally, this is an awful situation, and finally, someone to help. So I'll go to the boss's boss, because then they'll do the right thing. And they said that they had done nothing wrong, and they'd acted fine, and that I was a baddie and they were the goodies. as I say, I'm glad I've seen it now. I'm glad I've seen the inner workings of the system and how it operates and how power does corrupt and how the system, especially with regards to the UK, is devoid of nobility in the most part, for the most part. As I say, the girls and guys on the street, I've got nothing but respect for. And if you ever see these videos of like people giving police grief, they're just following orders. They're just trying to help. It's bobbies. You need to give them a break. You need to give them a break. They're just following orders. They're just like me and you. They're just trying to get paid and get home to the family. There are some that like the power, yeah, but that's not all of them at all. They're really sound, and a lot of them it's quite sad. They're just kind of geeky. Yeah, don't be mean on police officers as much as plausible, because they're just following orders, and it's the people that are giving the orders that are not the slightly unsavoury types. Not unsavoury, that's wrong. That are the most affected by the things that they've seen and done, which is having a direct impact on their life afterwards and those around them, vis-a-vis me. And I won't be the only one. That's what my therapist said to me as well. You won't be the only one this happened to. You're just the only one that can articulate it in the way that you are. I don't mean the only one. I'm sure there's other people that can be articulate, but I don't mean that to sound big-headed. I'm just trying to share what I've been told. Yeah, it's complicated. I'm glad I've seen it. As I say, I do want to make really big changes in this world, and I really want to help people and help the marginalised. And I don't want to do that by, you know, always the tax the rich thing. That's not tax the businesses, maybe. Not tax the rich. It's give equal opportunity to the poor. And poor is probably the wrong word. Although, having said that, obviously completely marginalised and probably on purpose, but in council estates and stuff, like where I train football, there is like football cages and stuff. Like posh people don't get football cages. It's something I've noticed. It's kind of cool. So if you do live in or near a council estate that has a football cage, posh people don't really have that. So go and play at a football cage and believe in yourselves, because anyone that's under the age of 25, you can still do whatever you want in life. And in sport in life, I mean, the sport is just how fit you are and how much you practice. There's nothing else to it, really. Obviously, there's some factors like natural abilities, cognitive abilities, things like that. But generally speaking, as a general rule, the person that practices the most and is the fittest is the best. And they are developable skills. You've got to believe in yourself and do it. And not waste time or money on frivolous bullshit that they try and get you confused of what's really important in life. And that's finding what you love and doing loads of it. Not wasting money on being a baller, because I reckon that that's been purposely created so that the middle class wastes money, same as the premium market, because the premium market is driven by the middle class. And the baller thing, don't spend money, make money. Anyway, I better go back for them dogs. Oh shit, did I leave them outside? When I leave them on there and they play fight loads, and Biggie gets hairs in his eyes, and I have to put my thumb in his eye and pull the hair out, otherwise it gets banging. Boys. I'm tired now. I always get tired after these. It's like therapy session. It is, you feel a bit zonked after it. And then afterwards you process it. Yeah, become my own therapist. My therapist said that as well. Yeah, I'm tired. And tip of the day. If you've got a loved one, give them a cuddle and tell them that you love them and ask them if they need anything. Yeah, fuck it. Goodbye, internet.